Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub. It is Monday, February 7th. Ian Cameron, Skee Profit, Dutch Boy Fresh, Trot Wham in the house, ready for a brand new week in the NBA and a Monday card that is a lot lighter than we're normally used to seeing on a Monday, that's for sure. I was surprised when I started working on this card and I saw 5 games. That's it. Yes, that is it. Very rare for a Monday, but 5 pretty interesting matchups. So we'll start in Charlotte. But we've got the Toronto Raptors taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Toronto, 1.5 point road favorite, 223.5 the total in this game. Raptors 5 in a row that they've won, and really they've done it against a pretty tough schedule, all things considered. 2 games against the Miami Heat, 2 games against the Atlanta Hawks, who have played a little bit better lately. Had a big win against Phoenix Thursday night. Raptors come back and beat them on Friday, and then an overtime win against the Chicago Bulls as well. So, this Raptors team playing some really good basketball, despite the fact they have no bench. But you don't need a bench when you have 5, 6, 7 guys that are consistently getting the job done for Nick Nurse right now at both ends of the floor. And it's the same crew. It's Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam for the most part, throw in a little Chris Boucher with a little pinch of Precious Achua. And that's the recipe right now for the Toronto Raptors. That's really the 7 guys that are playing for them every single game. They don't really go much beyond that in that group of 7, but it's gotten the job done for the Raptors. They're playing terrific. They've been off since Friday when they beat Atlanta. So the question you ask yourself is, with all this going on with the Raptors, and you contrast that with the Charlotte Hornets, who have lost 4 in a row, who have failed to cover in 4 of their last 5, who have suffered double-digit losses to the Clippers and the Heat, as well as losses to the Cavaliers and a 6-point loss to Boston. Obviously not playing as well, despite the fact, they've had LaMelo Ball back on the floor for some period of time. They're also going to have Gordon Hayward now on the floor for them as well, but still unable to put wins on the board. And yet you look at these 2 teams in their current form, and you just have to stop and do a double take and ask yourself, why the hell's the money coming in on Charlotte here? With this game dropping to 1.5 in this one. It kind of feels weird. It kind of feels like that unsettling feeling, I guess, in your stomach. But, it's Toronto or pass for me. I want no part of Charlotte right now. This is kind of the feeling. Dutch said it before the show when we were talking, kind of how I felt with Miami on Saturday night when they were only laying 3 at Charlotte. I've said, why are the Heat only laying that few points? And sure enough, they cruised to victory. So there's no way I would want Charlotte in their current form, and there's no way I'm going against the Raptors with 2 days off in their current form. So if you're worried about the spot, you're worried about fatigue, well, the Raptors have had 2 days off. So with a thin rotation, it shouldn't matter as much that fatigue, knowing they had the 2 days off since that game against Atlanta on Friday. So it's Raptors or nothing. I'm scratching my head at the line move, but I'm not in agreement with it whatsoever, not one bit. So I'm going to go with Toronto at the best number and price on the money line here I can find. Dutch, we'll start with you here. Raptors, Hornets.
Yeah, man. Real quick, salute to the ladies, gents, and DJs for tuning in. You already know it's all love. Be sure to hit that like button like I just hit that playing the Kush cake. Get you right where you need to be. Yeah, man. Big shout out to Abel Alvarez, Joshua Chapman, Star Child, Mr. Clay Thompson in the house. Hey. Yeah, man. Everybody share the video if you would as well. Muchly appreciated. Let's get some motherfuckers in here and let's hit these motherfuckers straight over the head. But yeah, man, I agree with everything Ian said. We talked about it pre-show. Like, I like the Raptors. It's down to 1.5. I locked it in at 2. I'm not scared, to be quite honest with you. I believe they're going to be too big, really, for the Hornets. I know, they got Washington. A little talk about him when they wanted to move him. I believe he's real streaky, but he's too small to be a big man. Obviously to be competitive. Obviously, I believe. He's cool off the bench, but when he's starting, and then you got Plumlee in there, he's okay. But yeah, I just think that they're going to have a big rebound edge. And I just think the Raptors, we talked about this, that I see they're kind of turning the corner. I believe they're going to be a bet-on team. They've been a bet-on team of late, and I think definitely the second half we can count on the Raptors. I don't really understand the money coming in. Like you talked about, Ian, they did have 2 days off, so they had a stretch there, some tough games. But the 2 days off, obviously, is going to help. And I believe the 7-8 guys are going to be ready to go. They got Big Birch back, too, off the bench coming off, so they got an extra big to protect the paint, which I like. Which is one thing they were missing, obviously, last couple games when I was watching them. But the Raptors are 4-0 ATS last 4 as a favorite, 5-0 ATS last 5 overall, and 3-1 ATS last 5 on the road. They're 10-4 straight up last 14 meetings versus these boys. So they handle the Hornets overall. And, you mentioned it, you got Hayward guys coming back throughout the lineup. But the reason why I think this team isn't winning basketball games is because I see a little bit of like kind of everybody just gets their own. And then a lot of bad shots being taken from not only LaMelo. Rozier's been playing good ball, and these guys do fill up the stat sheet. But when you watch them, you're seeing a lot of bad shots being taken. Oubre coming off shooting some crazy shit. Miles Bridges always trying to, posterize somebody. And then you got Hayward trying to come back, who obviously is going to want his share shots too. So it's kind of like, damn, is there enough ball out there? And you see guys kind of, hanging their head on the way back on defense. That's what I've been seeing, honestly, from the Hornets of late. And it's kind of shown in the stats. 1-4 ATS, last 5 on the road. They've lost straight up. They've lost 4 straight in a row, averaging only 96 points a game. So that ball movement isn't there. They're 0-5 ATS, last 5 at the house, and 1-5 straight up last 6 against the Eastern in conference. So I believe we could fade the Hornets here. I'm not going to look too much into what's coming in with the money. I think the Raptors are simply a better team, better coach team, and will win this basketball game.
All right, liking that. I'm shocked to see Toronto's top 10 in offense the last 10 games in terms of offensive rating, top 5 in the last 5 games for this team. They've been scoring like crazy. It's just pretty crazy to see it, especially, again, this team's only playing like 7 guys on a nightly basis, but their offense is flowing. The ball movement's good. They're sharing the rock every night. It's been impressive to see. Wham, what do you think here, Raptors Hornets?
Yeah, man, you said it, bro. They're a top 10 offensive team, and that's what they've been doing over the last 5 games. This team in the Hornets, they're 29th in their same category, man, over the last 5 games. They just can't do it. And just like you said, Dutch, they're forcing shots. They're just doing bad basketball. They got getting into it with the coach on the bench and shit. So maybe it is a good spot to take the Toronto Raptors here. I'm thinking that the number's short, trying to get a little, try to eat their way out of it, I guess. That maybe they took some money on the Hornets, or they're trying to make it a more attracting to be on the Raptors here. That could be the case as well. But I like the better team, like you said, Ian. I'm not scared at all. I like the Raptors here. I took a money line -120. That's the way I bet this game.
Tough sledding right now for Charlotte, and they're going to try to bounce back, but that was pretty rough for them Saturday night, obviously, against the Miami Heat. Surely the one thing with Charlotte is they're all talking, the players, that, hey, we got to stop the bleeding and win, and this is an important game for us. Well, here's their chance to show it. Skee, what do you think here, Toronto, Charlotte?
Yeah, you guys covered a lot of this game. I think I don't know if I heard. Maybe I was just blanking out a little bit, but I don't know if I heard. They got some stuff going on over there. Guys get into it. The coach on the bench,
Yep.
And we don't know what's going on in the locker room over there. You just got 2 teams to me going opposite directions. Raptors have won, I think, 5 games in a row, and Hornets have lost 4 games in a row. So clearly, we know which team is playing better right now. Which team is playing with confidence. That same team is the more rested team tonight, and you guys know how I feel about that. So I'll be on the Raptors on the money line tonight.
All right, excellent. All right, next up, we've got the Miami Heat and the Washington Wizards. Miami, 6-point road favorites, 206 the total in this game between these two. Both of these teams played Saturday. Washington ended up getting crushed 95-80 by the Phoenix Suns, 95-80, and it was worse. They were up by even bigger. Phoenix took their foot off the gas pedal. I don't know what you guys did with that game, but I laid 7.5 with Phoenix Saturday night at Washington. I thought good spot because they didn't like the way they played against Atlanta on TNT on Thursday night when Trae Young kind of carved them up for 42 points. Figured the Suns would have a good bounce back effort. Boy, they did. They put the boots to Washington. Washington's just a team I cannot get to the window with right now. They're just absolutely terrible at the moment. 2 wins in their last 10 games, 2-8 against the spread as well. The last 10, it's just not been good at all from this Wizards team. Just gone downhill. Their defense has collapsed in front of our very eyes. Really offensively, they've been horrendous as well. You look at offensive numbers here for Washington, they're like bottom 5 in the NBA, the last several games from an offensive perspective. So, that's not supposed to be the case here, but Bradley Beal has clearly been missed. I don't think it's a coincidence here that the Washington Wizards offense is tanked without him. But, obviously he's had the wrist injury for the Wizards. He's already missed the last 3 games. He's going to be out once again tonight for Washington. The only concern you would have here with Miami is maybe they look ahead to the next game, but then you look at their schedule. They don't play again tonight until Thursday, and it's New Orleans. So, yeah, it's not really a look ahead. It's, a bottom-tier team. So I think what Miami comes to play here, the number has stayed steady, -6. I'm going ahead and laying the 6 here with the Miami Heat. I mean, Washington to me is just not a team I'm looking to back at this point in time. The Heat have put 2 impressive blowout wins together in a row on the road against San Antonio and Charlotte. They went through that little bit of a struggle lost twice to the Raptors, lost to the Celtics, but they were also without some key players on the floor for them. But they've got a little bit healthier since then. Jimmy Butler looks like he's back to being a game-time decision tonight with that toe issue, but we'll see if he plays. It's still certainly Miami or pass for me. And even if he doesn't go, maybe you'll even get a better number right before tip-off. But, yeah, Washington is just a one-way team right now. I'm either going against them or I'm laying off. What do you think here, Skee? Miami, Washington.
Well, I don't like hearing that Jimmy Butler's popping up, or Jimmy Butler's on the injury report. But what I'm thinking in this game is I agree with you for the most part. I don't trust Washington at all right now. I know they've only won and they've only covered one of their last 5 games. And you just hear the coach talk. He's pretty much saying, like, when things are not going the way for the Wizards like they want, they just kind of give up and they don't even try to run the sets that they're supposed to run. So that's not a team that I want to have my money on. So I do lean Miami, but I put my money on the under in this game. Neither team really was playing up tempo. I want to say both were not good offensive rated teams, like bottom 5 offensive rated teams the last 5 games. And I know Miami is a top 5 defensive rated team in that same span. I also like that with the starting lineup, the guys that they should have out there tonight, if Jimmy Butler does play, their defensive rating is a lot better than any other lineup that they have. I think it's like 93 point something on 100% possessions. So hopefully Jimmy goes, and I like under for the full game, and I also like Washington team total under. I think they've stayed under 100 points for their last 6 games, and Miami has held their last couple opponents under 100. They didn't even get close, so I like it.
All right, that's under team total. Maybe look at that here as well as the full game under. Team total under Washington as well as the full game under here. And Kuzma's been the guy that's carried them offensively, but even he's had a terrible game Saturday night. Just 9 points on 25% shooting, 3 of 12. Not good. And he's been the guy that they've relied on without Bradley Beal. Spencer Dinwiddie's in a bit of a scoring slump right now. So with Kuzma cooling off, with Dinwiddie struggling with his Jimmy right now, and no Beal, that's why no offense. As of late for Washington. They've had a real tough time putting the ball in the hoop. Dutch, what do you think here, Heat Wizards?
Yeah, man. Hey, big shout out to our guy Sam Comer, JB Brown. I see you, my dude. J Money, big shout out to our guy. Killing it LA too. Stay killing it, my dude. Good shit. Alfonso, I see you, my guy. Yeah, ski, man. Hey, you took my shit, bro. I like it though. I like it. I like the under. I didn't bet the under, but I was gonna hit y'all with the kind of not really in my lane. The team total under 100.5 for the Washington Wizards. So I did like that. I guess the under would probably be a look too. But I like I definitely like the Wizards team total under there. And you touched on a little bit, Ski. But the last 4, they're averaging 94 points per game. So I think and since Kyle Lowry has been back in the lineup, only 2 games, so short window. But I told you these motherfuckers is gonna rally around them. They held that shit in house. That's some respectable shit going on over in Miami. It's a little different in Miami than most places. And I think you've seen it show on the basketball court with, like my man Ian mentioned too, blowouts. And in those 2 games, they've allowed their opponents averaging 90 points per game in the 2 games, only shooting 37% from the field. So these boys are locking in on the defensive end. Obviously, you do want Jimmy Butler out there. I believe he's been questionable the last 4 or 5 fucking games. So Jimmy Buckets, just play, bro. Now he's starting to be like this questionable every time, but he does go. That's the other thing. But come on, man, don't be like the rest of these motherfuckers. But yeah, the Heat, I feel like they're gonna turn the corner. I said they're missing one thing, and that was Kyle Lowry. And they don't need him out there, going 30 minutes hard. Just give him, 20 to 25 minutes of good leadership basketball. It's contagious. and you'll see Gabe Vincent and the rest of the boys play better as well, which we've seen also in the short span. Now they are 4-1 ATS last 5 as a road favorite, 6-2 overall against the number last 8 as a favorite overall for the Miami Heat. And I mean, we touched on it, man. You can kind of just blindly fade the Washington Wizards, especially without Mr. Bradley Beal. They're 1-6 ATS last 7 at the house, 1-7 overall against the number last 8, and 2-13 against the number last 15 motherfucking games. So they're damn near an auto fade. And when you got to, you know what we like to say, there's levels to this shit. And Miami might be 3 levels better than the motherfucking Washington Wizards. So late, I got it at 5.5. I think it's at 6 now. Don't be scared. It will be a double-digit game by fourth quarter.
All right, liking the Heat as well. Wham, what do you think, Miami, Washington?
Yeah, man. I think we all in unison here, man. I like the Heat as well. I like them in the first half. Is on that note, over the last 10 games at the house, the Wizards are 3-7 in the first half. This Heat team not that good on the road on the first half as well for the season, but 6-4 over the last 10. So against a bad team that's not playing any defense, and then the team that's playing a lot of defense, ranked 3rd in defensive rating over those last 5 games here. I just think that this team is just going to give it up on the boards. They're also giving up the most offensive boards to opponents over the last 5 games. They ranked 29th. This team is top 5 in offensive rebounding percentage in that span here in the Heat. So I think the Heat are live. I like them early. I took them -3, and I like that under here. I think you guys are talking my language as far as there be a lot of defense played. Of course, you want Jimmy Butler in the lineup. That is definitely terrible news. I got the -3 on the first half. Of course, I'm not really happy about that, but at the same time, I think he's in. Like JB Brown said right there. So I think Jimmy is in, and once he gets announced in, maybe it's a little bit movement here. So maybe you may want to hop on the Heat early.
All right, we got Phoenix and Chicago. Phoenix 8.5 point road favorites, 227.5 the total in this game. You guys, you already know what I'm doing with the total. If you've been watching this show for the last week or two, what is this Chicago overrun now? I think 6 straight games. I've probably been on it every time. Yesterday against Philadelphia, I was on the over again with the Bulls against the Sixers, in spite of Zach LaVine not playing and being a late scratch in that one for the Bulls. And that game still ended up going over the total, 220.5. It ended up 227, 119-108 victory for the Sixers in that game. So it's a back-to-back for Chicago, but it was an afternoon game, matinee affair yesterday, and it's a night game tonight. So it's a back-to-back, but it's not as bad as it normally is. What is bad for Chicago here, though, in my opinion, is the matchup against the Phoenix Suns. I mean, when you look at who they're without, there's no Lonzo Ball tonight. There's going to be no Alex Caruso out tonight. You've got Derek Jones, game-time decision. LaVine, currently a questionable game-time decision with the back spasms that kept him out of the game yesterday. You got Kobe White, also a game-time decision for the Chicago Bulls. You've got to face Chris Paul and Devin Booker tonight in this game. A guard duo that could absolutely rip apart this Chicago Bulls defense, which hasn't been necessarily great lately. And on the flip side, there's one concern I have with the over, though. Even though I'm going to ride it, because look, I've been on these Chicago overs. I'm going to ride it till it loses. That's what I always do when I get on these streaks with teams. I just ride it till it loses. But there is some concern with Chicago and the over tonight with Chicago offensively. It's DeMar DeRozan. It's how much is he going to have in the tank? Basically did everything and carried the team on his back to stay in that game yesterday as long as possible against the Sixers. 41 minutes, 45 points, 18 of 30 from the field for DeMar in that game. And now he's got to come back on a second of back-to-back games. He did everything humanly possible to keep Chicago alive in that game. Now you got to try to score again and make it happen offensively and kind of carry things for the Bulls a bit against one of the better defensive teams and one of the better teams, period, in the NBA. It's not an easy task. I do understand why the money's come in on Phoenix with the situation for Chicago back-to-back, where there could be as much as 3 starters out. You're talking about now Phoenix bet up from 6.5 to 8.5. It's a backwood for me from a side perspective. I don't know if I want to lay 8.5 now, but I understand why people are interested in laying the points with the Suns here, given the situation. But I'll stick to the what's been working, Chicago overs, one more time for me, over the total with the Suns and the Bulls. Wham, what do you think here? Phoenix, Chicago.
Yes, sir. I agree with you right there, man. I think it's going to be points to be scored in this game. As far as Phoenix, we know they're going to. I don't think they're going to be able to stop these guys as far as the Bulls. I don't think the Bulls going to be able to stop Phoenix. And like you said, who's going to be out there trying to get the offense running with all these guys on the injury report list? There's got one guy that's not on the injury report list who's hit 5 straight of his team over his points total, 10.5. Javonte Green. He's hit that 6 out of the last 8 times, 5 straight times. I think he gets there. He's averaging 13 points over the last 7 games. I believe he gets there today against this team because, like you mentioned, who's going to be out there for him? Who's going to help? I mean, if any one of these guys are out, his is probably going to be juiced up. Right now, you're getting it at -101. I think it's a pretty good deal right there. So I'm on that. That's the play that I did make in this game. As far as that, that's pretty much it for me. I don't really want to have anything to do betting against this Phoenix team. I think they may cover this game. Probably a bad spot for this Chicago team, but this is a scrappy team that's having a great coach. Like I mentioned last time, maybe coach of the year candidate. Of course, probably not winning, but gonna get up there, gets nominated or something. I like the full game for the Suns, but the only bet I made here is Javonte Green over 10.5 points. I believe that continues the streak and hits 6 straight times instead of the 5. Let's get it.
Yeah, Phoenix is in the city of brotherly love tomorrow night. It's important to point that out as well. They're playing the Philadelphia 76ers tomorrow night. So you wonder too, when you're thinking about laying 8.5 like this, what if you're up big and you got the bench in late in the game? And that's sometimes when teams get through the back door. So that's just something to keep in mind. Maybe you want to split it up with Phoenix first half, full game. If you like that Phoenix side in this one, just because of the fact you do have the game tomorrow night for Phoenix in Philadelphia against the Sixers. Dutch, what do you like here with Phoenix, Chicago?
Yeah, man. A big shout out to our guy MD24, I believe, with the kind words, man. Muchly appreciated. Preston, I see you, my dude. I dig it. Elliot V, big shout out, my guy. Dennis Gomez, everybody in the chat, muchly appreciated. Share the video, hit the motherfucking like button, and backwood this bitch. Yeah, man.
There we go. All right. Yeah. Nothing backwood for Dutch. I think his first one of this card. 317 live viewers. Let's hit that like button. We appreciate
I gave him a lot
it.
early,
Yeah,
so I don't give
exactly.
too much late. I ain't gonna lie to you.
He's given the gifts early. He's he was in a gift giving mood early. Now he says, all the best stuff maybe was already done. So we'll see what Dutch has left for these last 2 games after this one. All right, Skee, what do you think here, Suns and Bulls?
A couple things on the total. I was thinking over. Initially, I was just looking at the full game. Bulls defense has been terrible, allowing 117.3 points per game the last 2 weeks, and they've gone over, I think, 7 of the last 8 games in that span. But I don't know, just Bulls being on second of a back-to-back. Like you said, how much will DeRozan have in the tank, for the entirety of the game, or how much will everybody have in the tank for the entirety of the game? And then for Phoenix, they do have a day's rest, but they also play tomorrow. So I just think, if anything, that second half is probably, where we get less points than anything. I think if we're looking for the energy, it's going to be the start of the game, like the first half of the game. So I took, I like the first half over 111. And then I also like the Suns first half. Just looking first half margin, Bulls earlier in the year were really good on the first half lately. Haven't been that great. Last 3 games, -3.3 margin compared to the Suns, plus 10.3. So I think they handle business early and then maybe take their foot off the gas and get ready for their game tomorrow.
Yeah, and I did it. But one of the hottest prop bets going right now is Ayo Dosunmu over assists as well. Something to keep in mind. That's been cashing in a lot lately for the Chicago Bulls. So keep an eye on that. Most of these games, he's 5.5, 6.5 with that assist number. So he has definitely been dishing the ball out quite a bit for the Chicago Bulls of late.
Free the props, bookies. Free the props. Free the AO assists, bro. Come on now.
Yep.
Freedom.
Yep. Come on now. Yeah, give us the let me see what it is tonight. I think it's probably hold on here.
I don't see it, man.
No?
You're talking about Ayo Dosunmu, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Wow, doesn't have them posted. I think they're sick of losing it. because I think a lot of people have caught on to this for sure. He has been obviously a big part in facilitating the Bulls' offense of late and going over that assist number a lot in recent games. All right, Golden State, Oklahoma City. We've got Golden State 12.5-point road favorites, 210 the total here in this game. Oklahoma City, this is the third road game in 4 nights for them. You do get concerned a little bit about this spot, and now you've got to play, obviously, this very good Golden State team. Well, actually, this is an OKC. My bad. They're coming home, Oklahoma City, for this game after a 3-game road trip, which ended in Sacramento on Saturday night. So we'll see how they fare here. Back home after a road trip, always a little bit of a tricky spot. And then you look at who's out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Of course, SGA has been out for some period of time and won't be back until after the All-Star break. Looks like Luguentz Dort questionable as well for this game tonight. He actually suffered a broken nose in the game against Portland on Friday night and didn't play Saturday when in their loss to Sacramento. So we'll see if he ends up suiting up tonight here for the Thunder in this game. You've got Golden State laying a huge number here on the road, but they're definitely playing well. They beat Sacramento 126-114. They have been off for 3 days. Their last game was on Thursday, last week. So this is a Golden State team that definitely has a significant, they should be fresh, should be rested, ready to go here in this one. You look at series history between these two teams. Golden State has won every meeting against Oklahoma City, I think, by an 8-point margin or more since April of 2021. 4-1 ATS the last 5. 8 points or more. So they've pretty much dominated the Thunder. This is a backwood for me, not getting involved. I'm not going to lay this many points here with Golden State in this game. Thanks to Oklahoma City, by the way, to keep my best bet streak alive. We swept the board with best bets last week. I did on the show 5-0, and Oklahoma City plus the points against Portland. I couldn't believe Portland was laying that many points on Friday night in that game, and sure enough, OKC beat them outright. So pressure's on me. I'm trying to go for 6 straight today with best bets. Stay tuned for that. But for this game, I'm passing. It's a backwood. Nothing for me here. Skee, what about you with this matchup? Warriors, Thunder.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ian. We can go ahead and back with this one. Pass it on.
There we go. Pass it to Dutch.
Yeah, man. Keep that motherfucking backwood up there, though. I'm not hitting this motherfucker. This is that Reggie Bush bullshit. Big shout out to Mr. H-Town, though. Hey, yo, good shit, Jay. Thanks for joining us, man. Let's make some motherfucking money today. Let it be a profitable day, but absolutely a clear backwood.
Yeah,
big shout out to Nicky Fish Tanks.
Shout out, Nick. Good to see you in the chat, Nick. I hope you're doing well. Part of me thinks it's going to be a Golden State win by like 8 or 10, which means Oklahoma City. I actually cannot think Oklahoma City could cover, but it's a tough matchup. Is there going to be enough scoring? Because, look, if they fall beyond by double digits, it's going to be tough for them to score enough to hang in there with no SGA, maybe no Lou Dort as well for them tonight. That's a concern. Golden State does have Utah coming up, though. Much bigger game next up on Wednesday than this one. So certainly not the spot I'm looking to lay this many points on the road here with Golden State. Wham, what do you think in this one?
Shout out to Klay Thompson in the chat room, because I'm thinking that I think Klay Thompson, I think you are going to go over your 3-point makes today. You already been hot, brother. Last 5 games, shooting 46%. Pretty amazing, man. At 7.8 attempts. Sign me up for the over 2.5 3-point makes. Like you said, yourself is going to go up, man. Klay Thompson, I like you. I like how he's thinking, man. I'm glad he's tuning in and giving us the gigs. Like, maybe he's even like in on it, giving us the gigs right there. But he's already been doing it, and I expect him to get that look. So OKC's not really going to scare anybody from guarding, especially if they don't have Lou Dort out there. So over the 2.5 3-point makes for Klay Thompson, I like that look, man.
Yeah, definitely. And he's in. It looks like they're all good to go. It looks like the big guns for Golden State. Obviously, Draymond Green is still out, but he's been out for a while. But it looks like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry will both play tonight for Golden State. As far as the Thunder are concerned, the guy, especially if Lou Dort's not in tonight, the guys you got to target offensively for props are Giddey and Mann, Josh Giddey and Trey Mann. Those are going to have to be the two guys that really end up, carrying it for the Thunder. From scoring standpoint tonight, if they're also without Lou Dort. So maybe props consider those two guys if you're looking at OKC tonight. All right, final game of this card, New York, Utah. We got the Jazz, 8-point home favorites, 218 218.5 the total in this one. This is a fascinating one because you've got obviously a Utah team that, as far as being a point spread team at home, it's been more than just a little bit of a struggle here for the Utah Jazz in terms of being at home lately, covering numbers. They finally did against Brooklyn on Friday night, 125-102. Finally did cover as home favorites. Before that, they didn't have a cover against Denver at home. Phoenix, they lost outright as home favorites. Detroit failed to cover as home favorites. Houston, they lost outright as 14-point home favorites. I mean, laying points with the Jazz at home has not been good. It's not been kind to anybody's bankroll of late. So you could either lay 8 with Utah here. And by the way, a Utah team that going into tonight still without Rudy Gobert and Jordan Clarkson. Although Clarkson could play, they're listing him as game time decision. So still a chance he suits up tonight for the Jazz. So you can lay 8 with this team that's been brutal, laying points at home, or you can take the Knicks, and trust them. And that's not an easy team to trust right now. They've lost 5 of their last 6. The only win was against a hapless, weak, bottom-tier Sacramento team. That's it. The other games they lost Cleveland, they lost to Miami, blown out at Miami, blown out at Milwaukee, blown out by Memphis on their home floor. They have that big first half against the Lakers Saturday night. In that ABC primetime game, Lakers come all the way back and end up winning in overtime. Just not at all a confident Knicks team right now. And it seems like they got figured out a little bit by the Lakers in the second half the other night. That being said, they're obviously not going to be very happy with having that lead against the Lakers and blowing it like they did in that game, a heartbreaker. They had a 21-point lead and absolutely wasted 32 and 16 and a double-double from Julius Randle and 36 points from RJ Barrett. And somehow you end up losing that game. But I'll be honest, it's Knicks before Jazz for me. If I'm betting this side, I would take the Knicks. I'm not laying 8 with Utah. I think that's the worst and that's the scarier proposition for me going into this game. I don't love this game. It'll be a small bet, if anything. But I would take it with the Knicks at +8 than lay anything with Utah at home, especially this many points. And the one thing I'll say about the Knicks is I think at least some team pride kicks in, just squandering the game the way they did against the Lakers. If you're a professional team, and I'd still like to think they are, this is a team that was in the playoffs last year, even though they've not had anywhere close to as good a season this year. You'd think they step up and show something tonight after coughing it up against LA on Saturday night. So for me, it would be New York +8. That would be the preferred option. The lesser of two evils for me, if you will. Dutch, what do you think here? Knicks, Jazz.
Yeah, man. Yeah, real quick. I know it's Medicaid Monday, and I hope everybody's loaded as a motherfucker right now. But we got about 350 motherfuckers in here. We ain't even hit the Mando yet. Come on now, man. You lazy motherfuckers. You don't even got to put the kush down. You don't even got to put the drink down to hit the motherfucking like button. You don't even just take one hand off the titty and hit the motherfucking like button real quick. Like, please, dude.
7 strokes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got to get to that. We got to get to that Mando.
Yeah, next cash giveaway, 7 character strokes. Yeah, we'll have another one pretty soon on the show. Yeah.
Hey, man, shit. Yeah, this game though, man, I'm gonna do something because you already know what I'm gonna do with this motherfucking game. But I honestly agree with everything that you did say, Ian. But I was thinking, with these deadline coming around, and big shout out to the Cavaliers getting LeVert. I fucking love that pickup. But I do, since we have 2 Lakers here, I do, and we are talking about the Knickerbockers. I couldn't help but to think, what about if, and in the chat, let me know what you think if I'm tripping. And obviously, I want to hear the panel's opinion as well. I think that the Knicks and Lakers should make a trade. I think you should send Russ, Horton, and a second-round pick to the Knicks for Kemba, Burks, and Noel. Now, I believe that'll make now Kemba don't got to be a starter. I believe LBJ, now LBJ runs the point, and the Knicks are a competitor, and I believe the Lakers
Bro,
will be a
trying
better
to sabotage
team.
us.
That's what I was thinking. I honestly think that Kemba's a better fit with LBJ than Russ. And then, of course, Russ, he can run the point and fucking do whatever he wants in New York because they don't got a point. But I do think that would be the best option because the Lakers don't have many options, Skee. So I know you always going to shit on everything that I say about these motherfucking trades. But I do believe this would be a better trade for both teams. But yeah, as a game, back with this motherfucker, and I would only only look at the Knicks with the points if I had to, but I don't have to. So.
Because
So,
I
yeah,
think,
man.
too, if Gobert doesn't play, this should be a great night for Julius down low for sure for the Knicks. He did have a double-double, a very strong game against the Lakers the other night. So Rudy Gobert is expected to once again be out tonight. So, if that's the case, that's advantage Julius Randle. And that's probably a good prop, too, to look at for the Knicks tonight as well. Julius Randle potentially in this game with no Gobert, not having to worry about him around the rim tonight. Skee, that's not an easy game. I mean, it's not easy to trust these two teams. Are you trusting anyone here? Knicks, Jazz.
Well, real quick, Dutch, you cutting up, man. No, we want absolutely nothing the New York Knicks have to offer. First of all, and
So you don't think that they'd be a better defensive team with Burks and Noel in the lineup, and then bringing Kimba off the bench and LBJ at the point with Monk and AD?
You would be right.
You gonna tell me that
right,
team ain't gonna compete? See, think about it, bro. I'm just saying. You shit on Russ. I'm saying, and then Kimba's gone, and he's $10 million cheaper. But it's all good. I already knew you weren't gonna like this motherfucker. Just like you didn't like James Harden trade last year.
It's not that Russ has totally lost his skills. It's he has when you have no confidence at all, and he has none at all right now.
But the big thing with Russ is it's the worst fit with LBJ. And I said that when the trade was made. He's a little miniature LBJ. LBJ is the best with his ball in his hand. But my bad, go ahead, Skee.
No, we want nothing they have to offer over there. That's how I feel. And I don't want no parts of the Knicks. I disagree with this love for the Knicks or like for the Knicks or whatever it is. They stink. They've won one of their last 6 games past 2 weeks. They've only covered 2 of them. They're the less rested team in this situation, 1 day compared to 2, and they play tomorrow. That seems like a terrible spot for New York, a team that's already been playing bad. You see Randall getting into it with coaches over there, unfollowing the Knicks, don't want to be over there. It's too much going on. For Utah, we know why they were playing bad, because their best players were hurt or unhealthy. You don't have Gobert still, but you get Donovan Mitchell back in the mix. I think this Utah team is going to score. And they're the more rested team. You saw the past couple games. They put 2 wins together in a row. The last one, they won by like almost 20 points. I think it's very, very doable for them to beat the Knicks by double digits tonight. So I'll be on the Jazz.
All right, liking the Jazz here, -8, laying the points here. And they did finally get a point spread cover as home favorites in their last game against Brooklyn. Now, you can quibble about that and say, well, Brooklyn's terrible right now, but the Knicks aren't any better at the moment. So could this be a spot for Utah to get another double-digit win? They haven't had many lately on their home floor, but is tonight the night? We'll have to wait and see. All right, Wham, how about you here, New York, Utah?
Yeah, very interesting, man. These video coordinators and shit, they think they exposure and shit. They out there doing too much, bro. They doing too much and got big Julius Randle pissed off. Maybe he go over his props because he's so pissed off. And like somebody said, under his assist, he ain't passing it at all. That'd be funny as hell. I think that's the type of game we may expect. But I do expect the shots to still be provided for RJ Barrett. He's getting the most attempts out of anyone over the last 5 games. And he's shooting not the most threes, because Evan Fournier has still been doing that. He's shooting pretty good behind the arc. But I believe that RJ Barrett will still shoot the most threes today in this game. And he goes over the 2.5 3-point makes. That's the bet that I did make in this game. As far as this the thing that Dutch mentioned, I'll get my whack at it as well. As far as the trade, I do think that Noel will play a little bit better defense. This team does play pretty good defense over the last 5 games. They have holding opponents to about top 11 team defense. We know the problem with this Jazz team. They don't got Rudy Gobert out there. They're ranked 22nd in that same regard. They're giving it up down low. I expect Julius Randle to go down low. You know what I'm saying? I expect him to get his points today. But my main play today, I expect the points to come through and start the threes just drop for RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett over 2.5 threes. That's the only thing I say nice about the trade, though. You know what I'm saying? I just say he'll be a good paint defender. That'll be it. That's the only thing I would say nice.
I'm surprised Dutch even talking about Kimba. No, because you always
bro, he
trash everybody who don't play
shit,
defense, and then you want to talk about Kimba going to help somebody.
Kimba to come in there. That's a salary dump. That's probably a salary dump idea, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Kimba.
I understand.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And you get Burks and you get Noel. What's that gonna do? You guys don't play no fucking defense. That's what y'all need. And Kimba could be a 6th man or the 12th motherfucking man. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it comes down to.
He can at least give you some.
They over here, they own you though. They say he drunk in the chat.
He can't give you the other thing. Yeah.
Hey, they
I'm with my boy James.
But none of these motherfuckers really understand what the fuck, like I'm talking about Kimba coming over there and saving the fucking Lakers. No, I'm talking about you guys getting a couple defensive players, and Russ ain't it. You got to get out of that 44 mil is what I'm talking about. So you get out of that, and then Russ kind of can maybe do something in New York, get back to a little bit of what we've seen. Because Russ right now, man, homeboy's a shell of himself. I would like to see the old Russ, I ain't going to lie to you.
It looks like he lost his best friend or his dog or something. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, stop wearing the fucking skirts and focus on the game, Russ. Come on, man.
I like what James said. It sounded like Medicaid Monday up in here.
But like I'm just saying, like I don't expect him to come there and say the fucking
Dutch
day.
medicates every day.
Yeah, man, I'm loaded as man. Believe it. So, blame it on the Mary Jane. Blame it on the bitch. Yeah. She's a bad one. She's a bad bitch. Blame it on her. Yeah,
all right, good stuff. We got a few minutes, so some thoughts on the big trade yesterday. Karis LeVert, Dutch brought it up. It's hard not to give it a thumbs up from a Cavaliers standpoint. The backcourt's been decimated this year. Rubio and Sexton, and of course Garland lately. All just down for the count, and now all of a sudden you bring in Karis LeVert, who had a pretty solid year, especially of late, on a bad, underachieving, disappointing Indiana Pacers team. So hard not to like this trade from a Cavaliers perspective. He's now getting a chance to be in the playoffs again with a team that's going to be in the postseason. The Cavaliers helps their backcourt, which has been obviously decimated. So a lot to like. And if you're Rick Carlisle, how disappointed are you? You didn't sign up to be head coach of the Pacers thinking the thing's going to get blown up like this. And here he is now in Indiana with a team that's going to be totally dismantled, totally taken apart. LeVert's just the first block that's going to be dealt out of Indiana. Sabonis is on the way. Miles Turner's probably going to get moved before the trade deadline. It is blow it up time suddenly for the Indiana Pacers. And if you're Rick Carlisle, you're like, man, I signed up for this shit. A terrible season, and now we're trading guys left and right and rebuilding a little bit. It's not what he wanted. It's a guy that's used to being in the playoffs, contending for things, not being like this with Indiana here. Skee, what did you think of that Cleveland deal?
I think it's smart for Cleveland to do because they get out of Rubio, right? He was already had the season-ending injury, and I mean they're going for it this year. Is kind of just what they're telling you. No point in saving the draft picks. I mean you're playing well. You already have a lot of young talent on your roster. Might as well go ahead and make that push.
I agree. How about you, Wham? What did you think of LeVert to the Cavs?
Yeah, obviously it was a slam dunk for Cleveland there. You look at Indiana, you just fire sale, like they said earlier. They said it a month ago. So this deal like this could have been out there already. So it kind of gives me like what type of deals are really out there that they're talking about that'll stop you from pulling on LeVert, for pretty much little to nothing. So that's the way I looked at it. But it's very interesting to see how this Pacers thing will unfold. And I hope he doesn't throw off Darius Garland, man, get most improved. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, the good news for the Pacers is they got multiple first-round, second-round picks out of the trade. So that's what it's about for them now. It's retool, retinker, and think about the future, think about the long term. And Dutch, you can talk about it again. I know you mentioned it earlier, but obviously this is good for Cleveland because the backcourt's where they desperately needed a lot of help.
Yeah, I'm big on LeVert. I think he's a good guy. They just need to get ball movements. Hopefully, when Garland and Sexton get back in there, they can still there'll be enough ball. Because that's the only thing I'd probably say about LeVert. Sometimes he's a black hole. But big shout out to our guy Max Emil. I see you in the chat. Be sure to tune in to College Hoops. Connor Mack, get that college basketball money right after this daily. They're bringing you great content. But yeah, man, this I will say though is about the James Harden trade. If the Philadelphia 76ers are really gonna give up Ben Simmons and Seth Curry for motherfucking James Harden, hey, the Sixers might fucking kill themselves. The Sixers fans, y'all might kill yourselves in 2 years. I ain't gonna lie to you. Within 24 months, you guys might just fucking. If you have Embiid and Harden on the same team, I'm telling you, Harden ain't bought into the NBA, you guys. I mean, if y'all can't see that, you fucking blind. He don't care about the NBA. So if you're gonna give up two, I'm not that big on Curry, but him and Ben Simmons for James Harden, that's a steal. If Brooklyn gets that, watch out for Brooklyn. If they could get Kyrie to, fucking play, these games.
They could Steph and Gary Harris, all those fucking shooters right there with Kyrie. Why do they don't even need Ben Simmons to shoot? They don't just need this motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like,
just stand there and
go back to you don't shoot. Dude, run the show, bro. You can take the ball down every fucking time, but just make sure you pass that bitch, and you'll be cool, man. They'll be winning. They're gonna win. I'm telling you, they're gonna win. But
I wouldn't trade
but
for
LeVert's a
Harden or
stud.
Simmons. I wouldn't trade for either one of them because
I
I think
wouldn't
it's
trade for
toxic.
Simmons. I wouldn't
and,
trade for James Harden. You got me fucked up. That dude is gonna be at the strip club before he even fucking comes to the stadium. You know, going to a buffet and shit. Where you at? Oh, I had to stop and get something to eat real quick.
Yeah.
A Chick-fil-A drive-through and shit.
I had to stop at the smorgasbord just down the street from Barclays or wherever the fuck he ends up playing that night. Yeah. He's got some issues with that, but or at least certainly in the past as well. But no, there's no question. Just toxic personalities. I don't know if certain situations, Harden would make a team better, Simmons would make a team better, but man, toxic situations, personality wise, chemistry wise, character wise, would bother me wanting to complete a trade for either of those guys personally. But we'll have to see how it goes with Harden, and that's a soap opera. You talk about a team you talk about Washington earlier in the show, teams you just cannot bet on right now. Brooklyn is another team. You just cannot bet on them right now. They are an absolute soap opera. Days of our lives on a daily basis right now with the Brooklyn Nets. As the Nets turn right now with that franchise, it has been a shit show in Brooklyn. All right, great stuff with Wham, with Dutch, and with Skee. Thanks to everyone for joining us. 338 live viewers right now. Hit the like button if you haven't done it already. We got Net Profit College Basketball with our guys Connor Mack and Maxwell Smart coming up after this show. And we got Best Bets and Dutch's Freshest Look coming right up. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in for great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke at Southtown 101. Manscaped, promo code Pub Sports. Get 20% off your purchase. Lawnmower 4.0 or any Manscaped product, 20% off with promo code Pub Sports. MyBookie.ag. Super Bowl 56 is this Sunday. No better time to sign up than right now with all the props as well. NBA, college basketball, NHL. Sign up, mybookie.ag. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. Mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. And the Pub Rub. Get it, 2 for $25 or $14.99 each. Check it out at pubsportsradio.com. All right, best bets and Dutch's freshest look to wrap it up for a Monday. Wham, we'll start with you. Best bet.
Yes, sir. Let's go with the Bulls. Let's go with the only road dog, man. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like may have some shot here, but I don't think it's gonna be that much. But I do think they score here. Javonte Green over a 10.5 points, hit again 5 straight games, 6 out of the last 8. And I expect him to get some run here as well. So we wouldn't have to worry about the field goal attempts here. So let's get it.
There we go. All right. Liking the Javonte Green here tonight over 10.5 points. Chicago Bulls, best bet here for Wham on this Monday NBA card. Skee, what do you got for best bet?
Yeah, I talked about that New York spot and just how terrible they've been in general. So we're going to go ahead and fade them for best bet. We're going to back Utah, keep the momentum, keep it going, win by double digits. Utah -8.
There you go. Utah -8 against New York. Skee's got the Jazz. Skee's got the Jazz. He's got the Utah Jazz tonight. -8 against New York for his best bet. And Dutch, freshest look.
Yeah, man. Freshest look. I can't lie, man. I woke up hungry as a motherfucker. So I'm going to give y'all a 2-piece. Yeah, man. We're going with the Miami Heat -5.5 and the Toronto Raptors -1.5. Both of those are good money. Let's fucking eat.
All right, there we go. A little double dip there. Raptors and Heat. Raptors will go -1 with that, and Miami -6 current number against Washington. 2 freshest looks here for Dutch on this Monday card. And my best bet, this is a trickier card for me. I mean, I'm trying to keep the streak alive. I don't want it to end, but we've only got 5 games. I just got to go with what I think's the best of the best right now. And even with the question marks to Jimmy Butler, I believe that's Miami, -6 against Washington. Washington's just a complete fade right now. No confidence, no offense, scuffling without Bradley Beal. Miami's got nobody to look ahead to on deck. They've got New Orleans coming up. I expect the focus to be there. And it doesn't matter what lineup Eric Spoelstra's gone with. This team has constantly found ways to beat teams, especially inferior teams, regardless of Lowry in and out, regardless of Bam in or out, Hero in or out, Butler in or out. You go on down the list, Miami has still found ways to win games. I think they do so once again tonight. Miami -6 against Washington for my best bet for this Monday Pub Hub NBA show. And that'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Pub Hub. We thank everyone for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't done so already. For Skee Profit, Dutch Boy Fresh, and Trot Wham, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow on Tuesday for another edition of the NBA Pub Hub. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, right here on Pub Sports Radio. We got Net Profit coming up next. And don't forget Clint with his MMA, Diehard MMA podcast show. I bring it up because it's a huge, huge UFC pay-per-view this weekend. Adesanya, Whitaker 2. A huge card. Get ready for it. Listen to Clint and the MMA podcast tonight on Pub Sports Radio as well. He'll get you set for a big UFC card on Saturday night. That's a wrap. Dutch, take us home.
Yeah, man. You know where it's at, Pub Sports Radio. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. Yo, salute to the real ones. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed. Let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man.